Hello, welcome to Popalong RC. I'm Mark and he is Carl. Recently, we have put out a few videos featuring the car that started the channel, the FTX Vantage, and there have been a few comments basically saying you're a numpty. Yes, well there has, yes. They said, why are you doing that? Why are you bothering doing that? What's the point of that? Well, I'll tell you the point of that, right? I'm getting angry now. You're getting angry? Nah, not really. Well, you see, the thing is, I thought it would be nice as we headed towards the Popalong GP, this year's one, our off-road one. We've got to pay homage, is that right? Pay homage to the humble FTX Vantage, because that's where it all started for us. And I thought, well, let's do it. We had, I think, between us 4 or 5 of them just kicking around in a box, right? Yeah. And I came around your house, didn't I? Grabbed a few bits, and then I did a build video on this. And just to see if, with a few little bits here and a few little bits there, would it make a good racer? A few little bits. All right. A lot of little bits. Well, look. Do you know what? There's your Mark broom, aren't you? Yeah. That, my friend, is Trigger's broom. That is Trigger's broom. That's not really much of a... There's not much of a standard FTX Vantage left on this car. No, I think the shock towers, maybe. The shock towers. The shocks are still the same. Anyway, if you haven't seen the build video, go check it out. We'll put it in the link in this description. But what makes this kind of unique is the fact that Rochester RC sent us one of these, right? Which is the Fusion Exceed 3.5 ton brushless motor combo. Now, it's ridiculously powerful. I put it in the car, and the first thing I fathomed out was it was way over geared. It was getting so hot, so I went all the way back down to I think I've got a 15 tooth pinion gear in this thing, right? And this ESC is only on half power. And what I mean when I say that is that the EPA, the endpoint adjust, I've turned down to 50%, and I never really thought that would work. I thought, well, that's too good to be true. That's just dialing it down. It's almost like gearing it. I can gear it up on the transmitter, right, so to speak. But it's down to about 55%, and it seemed to be rapid, but it was just hanging on. Yeah, so I left it at that. And let me tell you something. This is a cheap combo. What do you think I'm going to say about this? Do you know what? Obviously, I was at the Popalong GP and I saw what you did with that car. Yeah. So I'm actually thinking you were actually quite impressed with that. I was really impressed with that, right? So when you get a cheap motor and ESC combo, I've done it before in the past, and they cog and they stutter and they don't brake very well, this, that and the other. Absolutely rock solid, that. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I've got oodles of power, which I'm never going to use. Unless I want to rip the thing to bits, because let me tell you something, I did turn it up to 100%, and it was hilarious. We did that at the practice track, didn't we? I said, go on, turn it up, show me, and it basically somersaulted itself. Yeah, it wheelied down a straight, somersaulted, and nearly tore itself to bits, apart, which is not what we do. That's not what we... If you want to go and see cars be smashed up, go and see some other... We won't mention their name, will we? There's a few other YouTubers. If we do mention Kev Talbot's name, we might get the analytics might put this video in amongst his. I don't think YouTube works like that. I won't mention Kevin Talbot. I wouldn't mention Kevin Talbot because I don't think that helps. What, if we mention Kevin Talbot? No, I don't think if you mention Kevin Talbot, it does anything. All right, let's not do it then. So let's leave that. As you can see, this car was ripping it round.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Worth noting, okay, whilst there, everyone, because the weather conditions were changing throughout the day, everyone was jumping between different tyres. What tyres were you running, boss?
I was running stock tyres.
£7 a pair.
Yeah,
and that
stock
comes
tyres.
with the wheels as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, stock tyres, stock wheels, stock shocks. The main components are stock, basically, on the car.
And do you know what? I was really impressed with how you got on.
Yeah. The only thing that let me down is because I put all the blingy upgrades on, it was metal in metal, and I did threadlock bolts in, but they still came out, right? So maybe I didn't put enough threadlock on them, but that's the only thing. So I missed that.
I think it was it the fourth qualifying?
Oh, yeah, the fourth qualifier.
You were ripping.
That qualifier I was doing it, and then the last final, I was loving it. I was up into fourth, and I was smashing it, and then that was game over. It came out.
I'm trying to think where the screw came out of. It was the servo, the steering arm.
It was a steering arm. It was a steering arm. Now, here's the thing, right? This initially was going to be a project that I was going to finish at the Popalong GP. I've kind of fallen in love with this car.
Again?
Yes.
Because we have had a little bit of a relationship with Vantage.
Yeah, it was going up against some seriously good cars. There was a couple of X-ray cars in there.
There was a couple of Schumacher cars there.
Exactly. And then there was this thing. I qualified third.
Out of 10?
Out of 10, yeah, pretty much. It was an A final. We only had one final, so let's say it was an A final.
Yeah.
But I qualified third on the grid, and I just couldn't believe it. It was much better in the dry. In the wet, it wasn't great. I'm thinking tyre choice.
You had to wrestle the car around.
Oh, it was a handful.
It was a handful.
It was a handful.
And part of that comes down to the fact that you had so much power coming through the wheels. It was drifting around some of those turns.
Yeah, it really was drifting around some of those turns. So initially, I was gonna race it at the Popalong GP and then go, well done, you've done very well, put it on the shelf and forget about it. But you know what? As I said, I've fallen in love with this car again. So the journey's not going to stop there. So I have now got some better shocks on order because I think they let it down slightly. They're obviously their budget, right? I'm going to get a bigger wing.
It's worth saying, actually, the shocks on these, I believe they've got a plastic chamber, haven't they?
Yeah.
So you've got a plastic chamber, you've got metal at the top and bottom, and the shocks that you're going to go for have got a metal chamber, so it's just got a little bit
I'm going to
better pressure.
I'm going to go with, I like the year racing stuff because I'm not going to go top end because
it's still an affordable
this
car.
Is Popalong RC.
It is.
That's not the kind of thing we do. So, but look, I'll take you along for the journey if you want to see it. Look, at the end of the day, we want to get people into racing. Can you race an FTX Vantage at a club? Well, the answer most definitely is yes. I would go with they do two versions still. They do the 2.0, which is a brushed version. That's not bad. That's okay. Mm-hmm. But if you want to go racing, you really need to get the brushless version, I think.
Definitely.
And if you're going to go somewhere where there's loads of jumps, forget about it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great jumping car.
It's not. But those shock upgrades, it'll be interesting to see how
it
does
might
be.
It might be okay. You want to get the upgraded spur gear on it if you can. There's a few things you might want to do.
And I think, again, if you're going to be jumping, if there is a risk of nose diving, it's definitely worth upgrading the front end plate to the alley front plate.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that is one of the weak points that we found with the stock plastic chassis. So
yeah, there is a little shout out I want to give out, and it's to a company based in the UK called RW Racing. And when I was experimenting with gear ratios for this car, I think I placed about 5 orders with those because I'd get a slightly smaller pinion, then I think, I've got to get a smaller one, and they literally came. I ordered it. And they come the very next day. It's so easy online. But so RW Racing, I know that a lot of the guys we race with use them anyway. But I thought I think they're a small company, so let's give them a shout out. So thanks for those guys for getting those bits to me real quick. But there you go. So that's a bit about the Vantage. The journey doesn't stop here. There's more to come from this car.
Do you know what? It's worth saying it's still got the plastic tub chassis of the original Vantage. There is, I believe, an alley and a carbon fibre option for the chassis, but are you going to go down that road, do you think, or are you going to stick with the plastic?
I don't know. I don't want to spend too much money on the car because essentially, what's the point, right? But if one comes my way, I will put it on.
There we go.
So that's
Do you
all.
know what though? I think if we look back to the TT01 racing we do, then you can add all the alley parts on, but ultimately it's that tub chassis which is the essence of the TT01.
Yeah.
As soon as you see a TT01 that's lost the tub chassis and has got one of those carbon fibre ones, it's no longer a TT01. So do you know what? I don't think you should change the chassis.
Nah, I think I'll leave it.
You've got all your bolt-ons to it, but ultimately that is still a Vantage.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, we've got the alley suspension arms on. Do you need them? Absolutely no. I only put them on because we had them.
Yeah.
I'm not one for all the bling. I'm really not, because we're racers and you don't need bling when you're racing. You need the car go fast, not look nice, you know. But
It's nice. It's nice when your car's
yeah, exactly. So
I like a bit of bling.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
In fact, I think that was my bling.
Yeah, what's my bling now? So that's a bit about this car. I hope you've enjoyed the journey so far. Like I said, there's more to come from this car. I'm thoroughly looking forward to racing it again. But I'll do that when I get the upgraded shocks.
Yeah.
I'm going to get another wing because this one got a bit damaged. It's a bit soft. I want to get a slightly bigger one because I think I need a little bit more. Because this does fly, don't get me wrong. It is a fast car. So I reckon on that straight, maybe get a bigger wing. It might just give me a bit more downforce.
Do you know what would be quite interesting? You're probably not going to do it.
Go on.
Do you reckon you run that on an indoor carpet track? Or is it a grass racer? It is an amazing grass racer. There's no question about it.
It's a grass racer. My gut feeling is that on a carpet track, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be all that. It might be, but because you're when you're racing on grass, there's a bit of give with those gearboxes. Because I haven't even mentioned the gearbox. They're very basic. It's a basic.
Have they still
car.
got peanut butter in them?
Yeah, kind of. I did take them apart and put some Tamiya grease in there and whatnot, but yes, it does have that weird peanut butter stuff in there, which I don't know what that is, but I do think if you put really grippy wheels on this and really throw it around a carpet track, I think you might be in trouble a little bit with it, but I'm not going to. We could do it. Do you want to see it? If you want to see it, put in the comments. Let's give it a go. I don't think it will turn in that well because the turn in, what do you call that? It's not that turny.
Not that turny.
It's not that turny.
There isn't much range on the steering with these cars, is there?
Exactly.
But do you know what? Maybe if you're not feeling the carpet, and we know it works on grass, how about we head back to Hemel Radio Control Car Club as a little compromise?
I think I'd like to do that.
Because again, if we go back to the good old days, you like to talk about the good old days.
Have I told you about when I was a boy?
You may have mentioned it
when I was a little boy.
That was your club.
Do you want to hear about a story? Shall I tell you a story?
Have they heard it? Is it a new one?
Story? I could tell you the story about how I got started with RC. Anyway. And that's how it all started.